On June 10, 1944, German soldiers arrived at the outskirts of his small 1,000-year-old French village of Ordo, Serglan. They appeared with one purpose: to murder all who lived in this peaceful place and burn their hamlet to the ground.
Cities are meant to be full of life, with busy streets, crowded markets, and noisy homes. But some have been left behind, empty and forgotten. From massive ghost towns in China to abandoned villages in the desert, these places once thrived, but now sit in silence. Some were lost to disaster, others to failing economies or government secrets.
Well, tonight, our special project here, secret money and local government exposed like never before. Here it is in black and white, and these are the contracts that are now being made public for the first time between local governments and highly paid lobbyists.
So, what cities fall into these categories? In this video, we'll take you to the 20 largest abandoned cities on Earth they don't want you to know about. Ordo, Serglan France. Let's start with this city, which stands as a haunting reminder of one of the darkest days in World War II. On June 10, 1944, this small village became the site of a brutal massacre. Nazi SS troops stormed the village, rounding up the men, women, and children before killing 642 people within hours. The soldiers set fire to homes, shops, and the church, leaving nothing but charred ruins and twisted metal behind. Today, the village remains frozen in that moment. Burned-out cars still sit on the streets, their frames rusting under the sun. Bicycle frames lie where children once left them, never to return. The stone walls of houses and shops still bear the marks of gunfire, and old sewing machines and pots remain scattered in empty homes, silent witnesses to a shattered past. Visitors walk through these ruins, passing crumbling walls and twisted railings, feeling the weight of a tragedy that wiped out almost an entire community in a single day. After the war, the French government chose to leave the village as it was, refusing to rebuild. This decision was not just about preserving the ruins, but about preserving the memory of those lost. This is just one of the abandoned cities we'll be visiting. Stay tuned for more shocking revelations. Plymouth Monserat. Plymouth, the former capital of Montserrat, was once a bustling Caribbean hub with government buildings, shops, and vibrant streets. That all changed in 1995 when the Soufriere Hills volcano awoke after centuries of dormancy.
The Soufriere Hills volcano is the southernmost volcano on the island of Montserrat. It is located 4 kilometers east of the capital city, Plymouth.
Over the next 2 years, volcanic activity intensified, leading to a devastating eruption in 1997. Pyroclastic flows and heavy ash buried the city, choking its life in a matter of hours. Entire buildings disappeared under thick volcanic debris, and streets vanished beneath layers of hardened ash. 19 people tragically lost their lives, caught in the sudden chaos. Today, the southern half of Montserrat, including Plymouth, is a designated exclusion zone, off-limits to residents and visitors. Ashgabat, Turkmenistan. The capital of Turkmenistan stands out for its surreal mix of beauty and emptiness. The city was designed with immense wealth, powered by the country's gas reserves. Towering white marble buildings rise across vast, eerily quiet streets, and everywhere you look, you'll see oversized monuments and golden statues. However, most of these massive structures serve no real purpose, remaining unused and gathering dust. The streets, despite being spotless, feel abandoned, with little sign of daily life. Wide boulevards and large plazas seem built for something grand, but not for the everyday hustle and bustle of a city. After dark, the situation only gets more unsettling. Locals avoid walking outside after sunset, and the streets become even quieter. Surveillance drones and cameras constantly watch every movement, adding to the city's strange, almost oppressive vibe. Agdam, Azerbaijan. Once a crowded city with over 40,000 residents, this place now stands as a haunting reminder of the destructive power of war. During the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict in the early 1990s, it was captured by Armenian forces and reduced to rubble. The city was looted, its buildings destroyed, and the streets stripped of any sign of life. It became a barren landscape, often called the Hiroshima of the Caucasus, due to the scale of its devastation. The war that turned this vibrant city into a ghost town was not just a physical destruction, but a wiping out of its entire existence.
And the fights between Armenia and Azerbaijan.
A flare-up of one of the world's oldest conflicts is raising fears of all-out war.
The few structures left are shells of what once was, standing as silent monuments to the destruction. For nearly 30 years, it lay in ruins, heavily mined and inaccessible. In 2020, after Azerbaijan regained control, a slow process of clearing the mines began, and hopes of rebuilding started to grow. Yet, even after all this time, the place remains a vast wasteland, with nothing moving on its streets. Don't miss the next scene where things get even more interesting. Thames Town, China. Built as part of Shanghai's ambitious project to decentralize its population, this place was meant to be a thriving community. It was constructed in 2006, and it mimics a traditional British village with all the iconic features like red telephone boxes, cobblestone streets, Tudor-style homes, a Gothic church, and English-style pubs. Every corner is a replica of England, designed in minute detail. However, despite the precision in its design, the town has largely remained empty. The reasons are simple: high property prices and poor urban planning, which included inconvenient transport links. Most of the buildings are vacant, and what should have been a bustling residential area is now a quiet, almost surreal place. The town has become a popular location for wedding photos, but that's about it. What was meant to be a lively neighborhood now stands as a strange, lifeless echo of a British village, frozen in time, with very few people actually living there. Hashima Island, Japan. Hashima Island, also known as Battleship Island, was a tightly packed urban jungle. Located off Nagasaki, this tiny island housed over 5,000 people in the early 20th century, all living in cramped, high-rise concrete buildings. Life was tough, but the community survived, with schools, shops, and hospitals nestled within the island's concrete maze. The island's prosperity was built on coal mining, operated by Mitsubishi. However, as Japan transitioned to oil, the mines shut down in 1974, and the workers left abruptly. The island has been abandoned ever since, slowly crumbling as nature reclaims it. With its ghostly, decaying buildings, Hashima is a symbol of industrial ambition, sudden decline, and forgotten history. During World War II, forced laborers from Korea and China were exploited here, adding a dark layer to its past. Now, the island stands as a haunting reminder of both human innovation and suffering. North Brother Island, New York, USA. This city is tucked away between the Bronx and Rikers Island. It is a 20-acre island, which has a fascinating history.
There's an uninhabited island in the East River. Photographer Christopher Payne got permission from the New York Parks Department to make repeated trips to North Brother Island starting in 2008.
Once home to Riverside Hospital, it was used to quarantine patients suffering from infectious diseases like smallpox and typhoid in the late 1800s. Its most infamous resident was Typhoid Mary, the first known carrier of typhoid fever, who spent over 20 years here in isolation. After Riverside Hospital closed, the island became a housing site for war veterans and later a controversial rehab center for troubled teens. But by the 1960s, it was abandoned for good, leaving behind a decaying campus. Today, the island is off-limits to the public and serves as a bird sanctuary, but it's still haunted by its past. The crumbling buildings are overrun by nature, vines creeping through windows and doors. You will be shocked with what you'll find in the next city, Ordo's, Kangbashi, China. Ordo's, often called China's ghost city, is a strange example of what happens when real estate dreams don't match reality. Built in the early 2000s, the Kangbashi district was designed with high hopes, fueled by coal wealth. The plan was to create a vibrant city with futuristic buildings, wide streets, museums, stadiums, and luxury apartments for over 1 million people. But despite the grand vision, no one came. Property prices soared, and the location remained isolated, making it hard to attract residents. Today, the district is almost empty, with only a small fraction of the population living in its vast area. The city's infrastructure still works perfectly. The streetlights turn on every night, lighting up empty roads. It's a surreal, modern ghost town, where everything is in place but the people. Belchite, Spain. The town was utterly destroyed during intense fighting in the Spanish Civil War in 1937. After the nationalists' victory, Franco decided to leave the ruins standing as a symbol of his triumph and the war's devastation, choosing not to rebuild it. Instead, a new town was constructed nearby. Today, visitors can walk through the remains, where skeletal churches and bombed houses still bear the marks of conflict. The structures stand frozen in time, with bullet scars and rubble telling the grim story of the past. The ruins are a solemn reminder of the horrors of war, with nothing left but silence and decay. Despite its haunting beauty, the site carries a heavy weight, reflecting the brutal reality of the conflict. It's a place where the destruction and suffering are preserved, serving as an emotional symbol to the violence that once ravaged the area. Klemenskop, Namibia. In the heart of the Namib Desert, a once bubbly town is now slowly being consumed by the sands. Klemenskop was born out of an unexpected diamond discovery in 1908, quickly growing into a bustling mining town. German settlers built a luxurious community, complete with a hospital, a bowling alley, and even Africa's first X-ray station to detect diamond theft. For a time, it was a small oasis of European style living in the desert. However, as diamond deposits ran dry and richer, finds were made further south, the town's fortune faded. By 1956, it was abandoned, left to the relentless desert. Today, the buildings stand half buried in sand. Staircases lead to empty rooms, and doorways open into vast dunes. Despite the desert reclaiming its land, Klemenskop has become a popular tourist destination, a haunting reminder of how quickly wealth can vanish, leaving only remnants of a fleeting dream. The biggest reveal is yet to come. Keep watching. Sanji Pod City, Taiwan. In the 1970s, a futuristic housing project was built outside Taipei with the aim of becoming a luxury resort. The design was unique, with colorful UFO-shaped pods perched on stilts, meant to house wealthy buyers. The vision was bold, aiming to create an extravagant, cutting-edge community. However, things quickly went wrong. Financial issues plagued the project, and rumors began to spread about strange accidents during construction. Some locals even blamed curses or restless spirits for the mishaps. By 1980, the project was abandoned before it was ever finished, leaving behind a collection of decaying pods. For years, these eerie structures stood by the sea, attracting urban explorers and curious onlookers. Over time, most of the pods were demolished, but the strange legacy of the site lives on in urban legends. Pryet, Ukraine. This city was built in 1970 to house the workers of the Chernobyl nuclear plant.
More than 30 years on from the disaster that made its name infamous, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant still holds an uneasy fascination for many. The events of April 1986 have recently been dramatized in a HBO series.
Designed to be a perfect Soviet town, it had everything including pools, cinemas, schools, and even an amusement park that was about to open. Life seemed bright, full of promise, until the night of April 25, 1986. A group of sleep-deprived workers ran tests on Reactor 4, to check if it could still be cooled without power. The next morning, the reactor exploded, causing the worst nuclear disaster in history. The nearby forest turned red from radiation. Within 36 hours, all 50,000 residents were evacuated. They were told it would be temporary. People left behind their homes, toys, pets, and everything they knew, thinking they'd be back soon. But they never returned. Now, the city stands abandoned, with classrooms still filled with books and desks. The Ferris wheel remains still, and nature slowly reclaims the buildings. The radiation is still there, and access is tightly controlled. Landia, Brazil. In the 1920s, Henry Ford set out to create a rubber-producing town deep in the Amazon rainforest, hoping to fuel his car empire. He called it Landia, a place meant to replicate American life and business in the jungle. The town was built with American-style architecture, work schedules, and even social norms like prohibition and square dancing. However, things went horribly wrong. Ford ignored local botanical advice, and the rubber trees quickly became infected with leaf blight due to improper planting techniques. Workers, frustrated with the strict rules, rebelled. The town never produced much latex, and Ford's dream crumbled. By 1945, Ford sold the town to Brazil, and it was abandoned. Presently, the ruins of Landia sit overrun by the jungle, with buildings slowly decaying as nature reclaims the area. You're on the edge of your seat, and it's about to get even better. Kangbashi District, China. Kangbashi District in Ordo is a massive example of overambitious urban planning. Built in the early 2000s, the district was designed to house 300,000 people with grand, futuristic buildings, wide streets, and vast infrastructure. But the residents never showed up. Despite the enormous scale of the project, the city remains largely empty. Giant towers stand without tenants, plazas are deserted, and stadiums are unused. The government made efforts to fill the city with people, but the demand just wasn't there. The city's rapid development was outpaced by its need for residents, creating a scary contrast of empty spaces meant for a bustling population. Famagusta, Varosha, Cyprus. Varosha in Famagusta was the crown jewel of Cyprus, attracting the rich and famous in the 1970s. With its glamorous high-rise hotels, pristine beaches, and luxury amenities, it was a place where celebrities like Elizabeth Taylor soaked up the sun. But everything changed in 1974 when Turkey invaded Cyprus following a coup. As the Turkish military advanced, the Greek Cypriot residents fled, expecting to return shortly. Instead, the area was sealed off and locked under military control. For decades, the district remained frozen in time, a haunting reminder of the unresolved conflict. Hotels stood tall over empty beaches, and everyday objects like beach towels were left behind. The city became a symbol of the ongoing political divide. In recent years, parts of it have been reopened by Turkey, but tensions remain high, leaving Varosha in an unsettling limbo between the past and an uncertain future. Xiongan China. Built in just 6 years, Xiongan was once farmland, but now it's one of China's boldest urban projects.
The document says the establishment of the Xiongan new area is an important decision that comes from the Central Committee and President Xi Jinping. The plan reconfirms that Xiongan will hold some of Beijing's non-capital functions and some of its people.
This new city, 100 kilometers from Beijing, is designed to be a model of the future, an eco-friendly, smart city to relieve pressure on the capital. It aims to host government offices, universities, and businesses, with billions of dollars poured into advanced infrastructure. However, while construction moves ahead at full speed, the city struggles to attract enough residents and companies to fill its vast spaces. Many of the areas are already complete, but they feel strangely empty, like the city is waiting for people who may never arrive. Despite the incredible ambition behind the project, there's a growing concern that Xiongan could end up as the world's largest ghost city. The next part of the video will change everything you are thinking. Centria Pennsylvania USA. An underground coal fire has been silently consuming this town since 1962. It began when an old mine pit was accidentally set on fire by a trash burning, and over the years, the fire spread through abandoned tunnels. As the flames moved, the ground became unstable. Cracks in the earth released toxic gases and smoke, while roads, including the famous graffiti-covered highway, started to buckle and collapse. By the 1980s, the situation had become dangerous, and the government relocated most of the residents, demolishing their homes. Now, only a few holdouts remain, living in a town slowly being eaten away by fire. The flames could burn for decades or even centuries. Body, California, USA. In the late 1800s, this town was a bustling gold rush hotspot tucked high in the Sierra Nevada mountains. With over 10,000 people, it was a wild, chaotic place known for its lawlessness, complete with 60 saloons, gambling dens, and frequent shootouts. The boom was short-lived as the gold ran out, and a series of fires destroyed parts of the town. By the 1940s, it was abandoned. What makes this place stand out is its preservation. Unlike many ghost towns, it's been maintained in a state of arrested decay, meaning buildings are stabilized but left in their natural state. When you walk through, you'll see untouched remnants from its pasts, like school books on desks, plates on tables, dust-covered pianos, and old saloon interiors. Kakott, Italy. This medieval town once shined, but now it stands as a reminder of nature's power. Founded centuries ago, it weathered plagues and wars, but the town couldn't escape the forces of geology. Throughout the 20th century, it was plagued by frequent landslides and earthquakes. The town's infrastructure, built on unstable clay, only made things worse. In 1963, a massive landslide marked the beginning of the end, forcing residents to leave. Subsequent quakes sped up the process, and by the 1980s, the town was completely deserted. Now its haunting ruins cling to the cliffs, offering a striking view of the surrounding landscape. With its dramatic appearance, it has become a favorite location for filmmakers, appearing in movies like The Passion of the Christ. Although it draws photographers and tourists, no one calls it home anymore, leaving behind only its beautiful yet tragic history. This last abandoned city will blow your mind. Kakott, Alaska, USA. High in the Wrangell Mountains of Alaska lies a ghost town once built to support one of the richest copper deposits ever found. From 1911 to 1938, it flourished, producing over $200 million in copper ore. The company town had everything a community needed: hospitals, a skating rink, and even a dairy. A 196-mile railroad transported the copper to other locations, making the town vital to the region's economy. But when the copper veins ran dry in the 1930s, the town was abandoned almost overnight. In November 1938, the last train left, and the town was left nearly intact. The iconic red concentration mill still stands against the backdrop of snow and glaciers, preserved by its isolation. Which of these abandoned cities intrigued you the most? Let us know what you think in the comments. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Click on the next displayed on your screen. You will enjoy it.